Either way, how are things in the state of Maine?
Maryland.
Maryland, yeah.
Maryland.
Oh, it's rainy and dark today, so it's okay.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, the cool thing about the state of Maryland is that you're there and you've created this awesome podcast that originates from there, and you created something from nothing, and it's awesome. So Maryland is now on the map for many things, including the Pretty Vacant Punk Hour.
I don't think there's too much else in that category. We don't have a lot of competition, but
Right.
I'm proud to be supporting and representing punk here in Maryland for sure.
How long has the show officially been on now?
6 months.
So
yeah.
your 6-month anniversary now. Again, Josh is your co-host or the co-producer as well, correct?
Yeah. We haven't talked about formal titles, but yeah, he's my co-host. He's been doing it, longer than anyone else, and I guess co-producer too. I mean, he helps with everything. I guess that's I don't know. I'm kind of like the number one because it was my idea, and he doesn't really want like all the responsibility or whatever, for like deciding future playlist themes and all that. So
that's cool. You've got someone reliable that's also knowledgeable and a good dude to have on your team.
He's awesome. He compliments me really well because he has such a great mind for the details, like band lineups, release dates. Like his brain is full of all of that. So, and mine isn't. So we compliment each other really well. Yeah.
Well, how long did it take for you to come up with the title of your podcast? Because I love it.
Oh my gosh, probably 5 minutes. Like, it came from a place of frustration because there's all these like gatekeepers of punk who think, looking back at the original punk bands, they're not punk enough anymore, oh, that wasn't real punk, and it ticks me off, and I was like, well, whatever I call my podcast, I want it to be like proud of where punk came from, okay? Like, let's celebrate the roots, okay? And it's not about like dividing us, right? Let's just be united. Let's find out what we have in common. And so that's where it came from. I wasn't going to try to hide that I am from that whole generation.
No doubt,
that
right?
Relates to that 70s stuff, right?
Oh yeah, well, mostly, gosh, on our show we play rock and roll, but with the punk we play is mostly, I'll say I'm guilty of the 70s, 80s, 90s, mostly. Yep. But there's so much in those 3 decades of punk rock that's not even funny. Starting, of course, even with the late 60s with Iggy's first album, The Stooges, was 1969. So really, it's 4 decades. And then and then the 2000s start. So there is definitely a fine line between old school and new school. But man, it's all good to me, no matter what the year, because like look at bands like Amyl and the Nitrates and stuff. You would think if you didn't know that they came from the old days, but they're it's blurring the lines.
They're
I love that.
channeling it for sure. I mean, like we played the Stooges on the very first episode because, of course, it's like, I'm a huge Stooges fan and Iggy fan, so that goes without saying. So if it hadn't been Pretty Vacant, it would have been like Search and Destroy or, Give Me Danger or something. No fun.
Absolutely. But, that's super cool.
I love that stuff. So I love the new bands, like you just said, that are coming out that are like channeling that and then reinterpreting it. So we try to play like just as much new as we do the classics.
Nice. So you got a nice healthy balance going there.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we play indigenous, like Native American punk, lots of women, marginalized groups, every sexual orientation, local bands. So any bands that are hearing this that, aren't getting represented elsewhere, you should get in touch and maybe we can have you on the show.
Yeah, no, I'm sure most people would figure it out, but a Pretty Vacant Punk Hour, you can be contacted, I'm sure, on Instagram or Facebook and those kind of places.
Yep, yeah, we're not on like Twitter or anything, but just Facebook, Instagram, that's it.
Nice. It's so great these days, man, with, even like some of the big, quote-unquote, big names in the business. You can get access to so many of them that a lot of them very much so are just like you and I, and they like to respond to their fans. And it's so cool that you can just get like almost instant like gratification these days. So, if you want to reach out, guys, and you have a band, and there's plenty of them because I'm hearing from at least half a dozen a day from all these different record labels that email or text me or call me through Facebook and Instagram. So yeah, the Pretty Vacant Punk Hour is officially looking for music. So there's definitely no shortage of bands out there looking for people just like you to like join together and bring the goodness.
Yeah, totally. And I guess if they can't figure out how to reach me, they can just reach you or Tracy, right?
There you go. We'll definitely forward it for sure, man.
Thank you. Yeah.
What's on your very next show that you have coming up? What's your plans for in case people don't know?
Thank you for asking. Yeah, so I just interviewed this amazing band from Chicago called the Speed Babes. And they were so relaxed and comfortable. They talked for close to 4 hours.
Nice.
So editing that down is going to be, it's fun. It's challenging, right? That's if I can manage it, that's going to be the next one. And then we're going to do some different stuff. Well, I'm going to have you on pretty soon. Yeah, and a bunch all the other bands are going to be pretty new and lesser known. So it's a nice balance. And we're going to do some different there's going to be a covers episode, I think, for New Year's Eve, punk covers, probably a Christmas holiday, winter solstice type episode, and stuff like that. So the next band interview is the Speed Babes. The previous one is Gino and the Goons, a very stoogey, Iggy influenced band. It's already up there if you want to check that out. And what else? There's a few others that I'm not 100% sure about yet. So, but I'm looking forward to having you on to talk about your new album.
Gosh, thank you for the opportunity because, a lot of these people are so kind and really cool about getting a hold about doing interviews, and I've done quite a few, but I've never had a podcast actually ask me about just the music, and I have had recently, that was a first for me, so you were talking about that too, and I'm like, yes, there must be a trend of people that want to actually dissect music for a little bit, but that's such an honor to come on.
That's what Josh and I love, so we would, we'll have a hard time holding back, and I love the stories behind the songs, and you have so many great stories, and I sent you a playlist, I'm sure you haven't even seen it yet, because I just sent it, of the other bands I'm going to play before you come on, and it's really neat how the themes and the sound of a lot of their songs, it leads up perfectly to your album, so I think you're going to be psyched.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate all the work you're putting into it. If you're just tuned in, you're listening to a chat with Sasha from Pretty Vacant Punk Hour. Appreciate you making the time to be here. We are going to literally go into a song to pay honor to you in your show. We're going to play something from back, like we were saying, the roots, back to Johnny Rotten days. 1977 is the year, and the world exploded when Nevermind the Bollocks came out, and everyone didn't know what to do. And then some people knew exactly what to do, and that was buy that record or steal it or get it at any cost. So we're going to play a song from that album and dedicate it to you in the show. It's called Pretty Vacant by the Pistols. Any last words before you go, Sasha?
Oh gosh, just thanks so much for having me on. It's always a pleasure, and I super appreciate the exposure, so thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thank you so much, and we will be supportive of your show, and we'll let people know if they come our way. Keep in touch, my friend.
Awesome. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Rock on.